How's this? How's this?
A little bit louder.
A little bit louder?
A little bit louder now.
A little bit louder?
Louder now.
Okay.
I just want to say, Ryan is our guest storyteller because he's already in the finals.
All right.
He's kicking it off.
This is the sacrificial poet. I hate you call it. Okay. Ready on the howler? You ready? All right, shoot. I planted watermelon seeds this winter with my class. I'm a preschool teacher. And we had watermelon for lunch. My students were wondering where the seeds go. We collected them in this disgusting preschool spittoon, and we brought them outside. And we talked about what might grow vines, we talked about what they needed, and then we planted them. And we waited. We're still waiting. It was more about the process. The day after, we didn't have watermelon, we had codfish fillet. And as we were cleaning up, I saw one of my students putting some bones into his pocket in a napkin. He brought them outside. And I saw him in the corner of the yard. I went up and I said, "Gerald, what are you doing?" And he looked at me and he didn't miss a beat and he said, "I'm planting a fish tree." Yeah. The fish is going to grow up and I'll pick the fish and yum, yum, yum. And we think that's funny as adults because we know presumably the connection between a fish and a tree and a river. We have these ideas of how the world fits together, and a lot of our jokes take the format what if, because we're able to do that. At Gerald and most of my students don't live in that world. There's no sarcasm, there's no irony, and it's a pretty cool world to live in. And it's not that they don't laugh or have fun. They laugh if they jump off the slide, or they laugh if they mix milk and paste or glue or whatever. But for them, they're not laughing because they need to imagine the world as anything else. They're just laughing because it's so much fun right now. That's pretty neat. We use humor for that as adults, and we also use it to smooth over social situations. If somebody stood me up tonight when I sent them a text and they didn't have a reason, I might say, "Next drink's on you, haha." And I probably wouldn't say what I was really feeling, which is, "Ouch, I invited you because I enjoy spending time with you." That's easier for us, we think, but I wonder about that sometimes, and I wondered about that a month ago. I had to break up a schoolyard brawl. There were elbows and knees, and there were preschool-specific combat weapons like Hot Wheels and Elmer's glue. And it was scary for my students too. One of them outweighed the other by about 40 pounds, which is significant because my other student was exactly 40 pounds. I weighed him in March. I came in the next morning and I had all these ideas about conflict resolution and what I was going to say to make a safe classroom space. We called them George and Renee, and Renee's playing with bananagrams, cool as a cucumber, as if nothing happened. And George comes in, he's the one who's 40 pounds underweight in the category. And he goes over and he says, "Renee, will you not hurt me today, please?" And Renee says, "Oh, okay." And George says, "Will you be my friend today?" "Okay, I'll be your friend." George says, "Renee, if you don't hurt me today, I'll be your friend tomorrow." Wow, right? If we're able to be that honest, that brutally honest at that age, then why do we think it's advanced when we have to cover it with a joke when we're older? We use that kind of humor. We cover up, we might smooth things out, we joke about the world, and part of the assumption is that, especially as adults, we find other people really interesting. We're social. Humor's a pretty complex social mechanism, and we want to bond with them. We think they might be more interesting because we know ourselves. We think we do. But what if we don't? A couple months ago, I saw another one of my students digging in the garden, and I was like, another fish tree, right? You gotta take these kids to a science museum. But I went over, and she was barking. Oh, she was being a dog. Not for anybody else, there wasn't anybody 10 yards, but she decided to be a dog. Okay. And she did that the next day, and she did that the next day. What do you think the other kids did? They petted her, they got her a dog bowl, they fed her, they worked out a coordinated schedule of walks during play school. And this went on for 6 weeks. Dog. And she talked when she needed to. She was pretty articulate for a dog, and she would write her name. But 6 weeks in, she stopped coming to school. And so I called her mom to see what was going on. And her mom she said, "My daughter is acting like a dog, and I'm going to keep her home until she learns to be a little girl." And I said, "Listen, I know this might seem strange because you're a human, but your daughter is a really nice dog. She's kind and she's caring, okay? And she's generous. And how cool is it that she's kind of like, before I commit to the whole human thing, let's see what else is out there. In 20 years, maybe not as cute, but right now. And then I dropped the bomb on her. I said, listen, I have a student, he's been a spider 3 years. He told me. He can count to 10, so I kind of trust him. He's a mean spider. He told me that too. He's better off as a little boy. Your little girl is a nice dog, give her a chance. And then the other side goes silent, and I'm kind of waiting, and I see the headlines of like, local preschool teacher accused of witchcraft transforms class into spiders and dogs and nudes. But she says, she's a nice dog, I'll give it a try. And Alexa comes back in the next day. And I say, Alexa, we missed you so much, how are you? And she says, woof. And she's not joking. Thank you.